Can everybody on Zoom hear us? Thumbs up, can you hear us? Can I get you to all turn your cameras on, please? Here we go, faces to names.
My vision is for this company to be the best healthcare company.
Can you all see each other?
Australia, not just the best telehealth company.
Awesome. I might just get the camera. Can the guys see what's on the camera? Yep. If we pan around and just everyone give each other a wave on the Zoom, if we can have a look at all the people here. So, oh, there you are. Okay, just getting my bearings. So, welcome everyone who's here in person and everyone who's joined us virtually. I think this is really very much an Access Telehealth vibe where we run a hybrid service. We run face-to-face and we've got all our team here on Telehealth. So welcome. This is the launch of our vision, our purpose and our values. My name's Brendan. I'm the very proud CEO of Access Telehealth that 4 years ago had a sum of 3 people in the business. And I look around now and on the screen and those that can't be here, and the growth's been phenomenal and really exciting. So very proud to be up here in front of you. On the Zoom and in the room, we've got board members, staff, clinicians, nurses from all over the country. So it's a really good opportunity to get everyone together in the same room, even if it's via Zoom. So thank you all for your attendance and making the effort on a Wednesday night. A couple of thank yous to Lee for organising everything and making this possible. The challenge was set down to have a hybrid launch and have the Brady Bunch on the screen and then all the people in the room. So I think we've achieved that. So well done, Lee. To Heather and Izzy and the team just for helping getting all the bits and pieces together and out to the guys who couldn't be here. So thank you. It's a big help and we appreciate it. Couple of announcements to Chantel. Is she on there? Happy birthday, Chantel. She might be out partying. Deanna's birthday tomorrow. Nikki, where are you? Didn't tell anyone last Saturday. And Vanessa this coming Saturday. So happy birthday to all of those people. Some other exciting news is some promotions, and this makes me really happy when we promote from within the business rather than just keeping adding. So to Kate and Sarah in Victoria and Tamika in Queensland, congratulations on, give us a wave. Congratulations to them being promoted to the regional nurse manager in their areas. So, and I think Sarah's also covering South Australia, so thank you. Just on the mention of Tamika, she recently got married to Josh, and being a Townsville person, I guess Canberra's not a bad venue for a honeymoon. But Tamika had her honeymoon in Canberra and actually had dinner with Anil, our lead geriatrician, which I love that. I think that they've worked together for about 12 months and to sort of build that bond and have dinner together was a really nice thing to do, so well done. Back in the office, we've had some movements and promotions too. So Susie and Paige have moved up into team lead roles, doing a great job. Maddie's moving into a BD role. Tetiana has been promoted in her development role to a front-end developer for us now, which is awesome. And as recently as today, we formalised Louise's promotion to the NDIS Client Care Team Manager. So well done, Lou. As I said, that sort of stuff's really awesome to promote from within the business and have people have a career path. And that's the sort of journey we're on. We're starting to grow up. So, Dave, if we want to start recording, now would be a good time. Thank you. To our vision, purpose and values. And these are, again, part of growing up as a business. And we're probably a little bit ahead of ourselves with this, but I think it's really important given the stage we're at and the growth we've experienced, especially over this year. I don't even know what the number is, Paul, Hillary. I think it's about 120 staff have joined us this year, this calendar year. Just phenomenal. Oh, thank you. Yep. Play to start, are we? Where's that gone? I can only see myself. Yeah, stop recording. We want to just see the prezzo, guys. Yeah. Okay, we've gone a bit far there, but anyway, there we are. Thank you. Thanks, Lee. So welcome everyone. No, wait. Look, it is a really important step for the business to sort of have our vision on paper and our purpose of why we do things and then the values that sit behind that. So vision, purpose and values are exactly that. They are what, why and how. And I'll get into that a bit more. It does create a reference point for us. It creates to use some cliches, a line in the sand or a stake in the ground to say, right, this is what we are about, this is what we stand for, and this is why we're doing it. And once we get through, I hope that you'll feel that excitement around what we can actually achieve as a group of people. So it'll influence things like the conversations we have, the people we hire, the way we operate our business, the way we operate as a team, and then externally with our clients. So they're very important, and in time, when we live them, it'll become the DNA of this business. So very exciting for me. It's been a 12-month project. So those few of you that were here 12 months ago were involved, including board members, to give us your feelings about the business, words on paper it was, or on I didn't do it, but it was a click-through thing where we all sort of said these words resonate with me about Access Telehealth. And so they started to shape the words and the values that we look at, the important thing to the team and the business as a whole. So we weren't going to have a vision or a mission. So I don't know if anyone's been in bigger businesses where they have all this stuff. We didn't feel we were ready for a mission or a vision just yet. We were still learning where we were heading as a business. But we had so we were working on purpose and values only. And we had a strategy session off-site in February this year, and Pat, our chairman, just made a statement around the table, and it stuck with me. And it was 6 words, and I thought, I need to find out more about this. And I bugged him, and I said, mate, tell me what you mean by that, and what does it mean to you, and what does it look like as a business? And he was good enough to sort of let us know, and I think we spoke to the board and a few of the people around the room about that vision. And so we're actually going to launch that as well as our purpose and values. And it's simple, it's ambitious, and that's probably sums up Pat. It is a big ask, right? But there's no reason we can't do it. So I'll get Pat up. The phrase he said was that we want to be, is that going to work? Australia's best healthcare business. He just said it around the table. And I'll let him explain a bit more about what that means to him. So thank you and welcome to Pat Bowden.
Thanks, Brendan. So, for those of you who don't know me, which is probably most of you, my name is Pat Bowden. I'm chairman of the company. I'll start by saying, how proud I am of the organisation, where it's come from very, very humble beginnings a very short time ago. I think Brendan came on board just over 4 years ago when we were I think a 3 or 4 man band, and he came on as the sales manager, business development manager, and I sort of thought this guy's got a bit of a twinkle in his eye. I think he's got potential. So put him in charge of the business, and we're just so proud. I can say on behalf of the board how proud we are of him in building the organisation to where it is now, and how proud we are of everyone who's gotten involved. We're really doing amazing things for people in difficult and vulnerable situations. So I want to thank you all personally and on behalf of the board. To go to this vision that we have to be the best healthcare company in Australia. Initially we said, well, do we want to be the best telehealth company in Australia? No, we want to go higher than that. We want to be the best healthcare company in Australia. And most businesses that have these sort of mission statements, does it have substance? I mean, I think a lot of the time it's just a motherhood statement. We want to be the best at this. To be the best at something, there has to be a cogent plan. There's a series of steps that you go through to become the best, and it has to be thought out and it has to be deliberately actioned. I'll give you a little bit more about my background, where it's pertinent to this discussion and I guess where it adds credibility to what our vision is. Not because I want to talk about myself, because I'm not very exciting, but my background is that I'm a cancer specialist. I did my training at the Peter Mac Institute in Melbourne, and then when I became a consultant, my first job was in Bendigo. We set up a new cancer centre in Bendigo, and that's where I learnt that in Australia there's two tiers of healthcare. There's metro and there's non-metro. So most of you, I guess, are metro-based, and I can tell you, and the stats support this, you don't get the same quality of healthcare in the regions. And in my field, in cancer, that was well documented with cancer survival rates in regional areas. So that's really where I first got an exposure to the fact that there are people who are disadvantaged, vulnerable, just by where they live. And that sort of sat with me for quite a long time. It was 2001 I started working in Bendigo, and I sort of had that thought in my mind, how can we improve things? So that's where we started. And then I came back to Melbourne for personal reasons, and I became the director of the Peter Mac's private facility, which is called the Tattersalls Cancer Centre. And I ran that organisation for 4 years, and it's where I sort of learned that there's, I guess, differentiation between how things work in public and private. This was a hybrid business run by a public hospital network within a private hospital, being the Epworth, which is the largest private hospital in Australia. And I guess that was where I learnt to see where you can grab good things from different avenues, different organisations. Some organisations do things well, some organisations do things badly, but most organisations do something right. And so in this experience, I then, I guess, pushed the Epworth to form their own cancer service, which we called Epworth Radiation Oncology. And my vision there was to take all the good aspects that I'd learned from public and from private and bring them into one hybrid model. So we did that, and again, I won't bore you with the details, but we took what I thought was good in public, which was education, research, with what was good in private, which is personalised care, access to finances to buy good equipment. And we did. We built up a cancer centre that was, I guess, recognised as one of the leading cancer centres in the country. So then I got involved in this business in 2016, and I took all that experience to, I guess, formulate an initial plan. It's gone a lot better than I thought it was going to go. We've clearly grown massively, but I think we're now at the point where we've got this nidus that we can take and use that sort of approach that I've talked about, where we take the best aspects of all the other organisations we know about to create the optimal approach and the optimal model to a healthcare business. And we've sort of outlined those points here, and I'll go through them and I guess describe them a little bit more and where everyone in this room can become involved in that. So the key thing and the reason why we're here is we want to provide the best possible medical care and nursing care we can to our clients, our patients, our participants. That's number one. Now that is, again, something that's not just a motherhood statement. You have to work on that. Our teams of medical personnel, be they nursing, doctors, allied health, they have to be motivated. To motivate them, they have to have that internal drive, but you also have to have team leaders, medical leaders in the organisation who are there to coach, to provide protocols, to assist, to troubleshoot. And so that's what we've started doing. We've got getting clinical leads in all of those areas. So that journey has started. You want to have an organisation where your customers, in our case patients, think you're amazing. And that's something that, in my experience, you don't always see in medicine. And the reason you don't see it is because medicine is a seller's market, if you like. There's a relative shortage of doctors. So doctors can get away with being pretty shitty, and they still get lots of patients because there's a shortage of doctors. That doesn't cut it with me. I won't be involved in an organisation that takes that approach. You have to have a customer-centric approach in medicine, just as you would in any other business. Doesn't matter if there's a shortage of available practitioners, you have to put the customer first. So to me, you want your patients to feed back to you, hey, this is an amazing service. What you've done for me is incredible. That makes them feel good, and it makes you feel good about what you're doing. To achieve that, we're not there yet. I guess I should preface everything I'm saying here by pointing out that what we're doing is groundbreaking, it's revolutionary, and it's untested. No one has done what we are doing ever before. There's no roadmap. In particular, in our aged care business, we're providing this hybrid model of care involving nurses, GPs, specialists, some face-to-face, some telehealth. No one's ever done that before, and we're doing it in difficult-to-service areas. So I guess we're pioneers, and when you're a pioneer and there's no roadmap, you've got to make it up as you go along. So we've got a lot of work to do in that area to develop processes, systems, to make sure that we can provide an optimal experience for our customers. And this has come up before, and it's probably not a great analogy in medicine, but I like to, as I say, take the best aspects of other businesses and drag them out and see how we can use them. And to me, in a way, McDonald's is an interesting business to look at because they have systems and processes that are down to the letter. I wouldn't say the hamburgers are great. I'm sure the hamburgers are better here. But when you go to McDonald's, you know exactly what you're going to get. You can't go to McDonald's around the corner or in New York, you're going to get the same experience. And that's because they have very, very rigorous systems. So that's what we're going to develop. That's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take feedback from everyone in this room and everyone online. We want to hear from you when you think what we're doing could be better. And we'll continue to develop these systems, to update them, to improve them till they're at that degree where they're almost faultless. When you're dealing with doctors, they're very one-dimensional people, right? They're focused on one thing. I've got my job to do, I'm going to care, I'm going to provide that script or whatever it might be. If something goes wrong to the periphery, they hit the roof. And I'm guilty of that. So, as much as they might piss you off, everything around a doctor has to work seamlessly in order for them, A, to do a good job, to work efficiently, and to provide a good experience for their patients. So again, in a way, systems fall into that, but I guess it's recognising that, yeah, all right, they're prima donnas, but we've just got to make sure that we keep them moving, working, and happy. I'll come to inspiration in a minute. That'll be something I'll talk to after. Another thing I like is innovation. And when I was involved in the Cancer Centre at Epworth that I talked to you about, we really vigorously promoted research opportunities. And that doesn't have to be formal research. It could be, some of our nurses might decide that they recognise a better way for, recognising when someone needs chemical restraint in a nursing home. Little projects that people have ideas about, I really want to hear about that. Because we'll promote that. If you're interested in developing new protocols, new systems, new ideas, that's good for us and it's good for you. It keeps people engaged and satisfied in their work environment. Probably the key thing, though, I want to talk to you about is purpose. And I know Brendan's going to talk about the purpose and values of the organisation. But I want to talk to you about individual purpose. So what we're doing, healthcare, particularly providing healthcare to the most vulnerable people in Australia, and our nursing home residents are clearly the single most vulnerable group of people in this country, without a shadow of a doubt. So that role that we're taking on is the most important role in society, full stop. There's no question. I mean, clearly other jobs are important, bankers, sports stars, whatever, and they might get more recognition. But when you ask people in society to rank who is most important, nearly every survey, nurses, doctors, paramedics. Why? Because everyone recognises that healthcare is number one at the end of the day. It's number one. Everything else is superfluous in comparison. So what we're doing is so very, very important. And what I guess that means is we've all got an enormous responsibility. So we come to work, we're not flipping burgers, we're directly influencing people's health. And there's nothing more important than that. And I guess that comes at enormous responsibility. And I'm sure a lot of you feel it. You get stressed out at work because you think, God, if I get this wrong, what's going to happen? The flip side of that, and this is where it's important, is it's a privilege. The reason it's a privilege for you, all as individuals, is purpose. Now, there's umpteen thousand studies that show that quality of life, sense of well-being, one of the most important things that contributes to that is a sense of purpose in your work. And there's no greater way to be doing something meaningful than to be influencing someone's health. And everyone in this organisation is involved. Everyone. It's not just the doctors and nurses. Everyone. If you're in admin, for example, and you get a call from a nursing home, Betty in Bupa Cairns, she's under palliative care, she's dying, she's in a lot of pain. You organise for Betty to get a locum call within an hour or two to get her medication, her opiate medication, morphine, written up. The difference you're making to her life is incalculable. Okay, in my work, I've seen people die badly, I've seen people die well. The difference is incalculable. Not just to her, she might have lived a great 90 years. You don't want to see her last day being in agony. You want to see her comfortable, peaceful. Also, her family will remember that forever. The last memory of her would be that she was at peace. That's a difference you all can make. That provides an enormous sense of purpose to what you're doing because you're making a difference. And I guess that's probably what I want to leave you with. I think it's useful to reflect every day, just for a few minutes, maybe before you come to work, at the end of the day, say, well, bloody hell, I made a difference. I made a difference. And that sense of purpose that you get from that permeates your whole life. Lots of studies have shown that if you've got a strong sense of purpose in what you do at work, you're happier, you're actually healthier, you live longer, and your relationships are better. So, yes, what we do is difficult. The responsibility can weigh heavily. But think of it as a privilege that you can make a difference every day of your working life. So, I hope that resonates, and at any stage, I want all of you feel free to contact me. If you've got any questions or if you think anything that we're doing can be improved, I want to hear about it. And thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thanks, Pat. A lot of you may not have met Pat, but I think you can tell that his finger is very much on the pulse of this business. Been a wonderful support to me and a number of the team here. I think he saves lives in his day job, but this is where his passion is. So thanks, Pat. Really good. So our vision is set. It's lofty. It's ambitious, but why not? And what I think you may not have recognised is there wasn't a mention of profit, revenue, EBITDA. None of that was mentioned from the chairman of the board. That's pretty rare because I think, Pat, we got all that right, the money will come. Yep. Yep. So thanks, mate. Oh no. I seem to only be able to go backwards. Anyway, there we go. All right, speaking of purpose, so we've sort of condensed our purpose into a really simple statement. And I think it's kind of what we do, right? We connect people. That can be in person, that can be on a telehealth with a specialist or an allied health clinician or whoever it is. We're connecting people, and we aim to improve health outcomes. That's kind of our business. And if anyone asks you what you do, you can just tell them that. What everyone in this business plays a part in that outcome. So splitting it up and sort of diving into there's 5 words there, but they're, if you spread them apart, they're pretty powerful. Connecting or connection is, there's the physical process, there's the Zoom, as I said, or the bedside care that we provide, but there's connecting in this room in our teams. There's connecting with our clinicians, and there's connecting with our clients, our patients, our participants, our residents. So connecting is always how businesses survive and thrive. And the second word just flows on from that. People is everything. And it's really important to me, as I think most of you know. I think my first ever board meeting, I said to Pat and the team, we're not a tech business. This is a relationship business. And in everything we do, there's a person either on the other end or, at our end, making it happen. Improving, we're constantly looking to improve. The improvement, day to day, minute to minute, every step we take towards becoming Australia's best healthcare business, that's what we're going to focus on, improving. Health is what we do. Excuse me, we're a health organisation. We provide primary care, specialist care, allied health, that's what we do. And the outcomes is the result. The outcomes is the result of all the hard work, all the training, all the care we take, that gives us those health outcomes. The people who benefit from what we do, and Pat talked about rural and nursing home residents and NDIS participants. I mean, these people are, vulnerable, like we wouldn't understand unless you know family and friends in that situation. If we weren't here, their health outcomes would be a lot different. And whilst it's only been a short time, I think our aged care business is probably from pilot ticking over about 2 years. But in any sort of scale, it's been about 1 year that we've been looking after now 4,000, and we hit there. We've hit 4,000 residents, so well done. Now, I think our target for end of this month, a year ago, was 3.5. So the growth just keeps coming because the service is so good, and the people at the other end are better off for using our service. So that's really exciting. So simple purpose, we connect people and we improve health outcomes. That's what we do. Behind all that, we talked about the what, which is the vision, what we want to be. This is why we do it. And then values is a little bit more extended. And values is not something you can just sort of say. I think values are in here. And I think values are something you can't teach or manage or control. And I think a lot of companies try and push their values or their purpose onto their employees and try and make it something that you have to do every day. The fact is, this business is already doing this stuff. This is not a change exercise. This is an endorsement of what we do. And I've heard this word 10 times today around the office. I was actually fortunate enough to meet Jackie, who's over here from WA, our lead psychologist who's just joined the team, and she said around the room today that she could feel how much we cared, even from the interview stage. So our values are represented by that word. On its own, makes a lot of sense, right? That's what we do. I think it was mentioned in the videos that we cut. I think it's something we do, right? We care. But we went a bit further, and we broke that down into, sorry, I'll backtrack a little, just a little bit of a statement around what values are. I've sort of covered it, but it's about all of these things that we do in the business. So it's about how we connect together, how we act as a team, who we employ, who we partner with, which doctors stay in the business. And I think it's real, right? That If a doctor doesn't care or he's just there for the paycheck, he's not going to last. So we know that. This is what impacts it. The way we treat each other and the achievements we celebrate. We want to call this stuff out. If someone acts with one of these values, we want to call it out, and Paul's going to come up and talk a little bit to that in a moment with the launch of something from tomorrow, which is really exciting. But this is what it's all about, and this is how we want to represent ourselves and our business moving forward. So we break it down a little bit. CARE into the acronym CARE is connecting and caring, access through teamwork, results and empowerment. It's meant to be, so I'll get that fixed. But we're sort of broken down, and these things, just read them through any lens you like, whether you're a staff member, whether you're a patient, whether you're a contractor into the business providing healthcare. Connecting and caring is at the heart of what we provide everyone, right? And that is so evident in what we do every day, and there's countless examples. Teamwork's probably one of my favourite things, and working together to achieve goals, I think, is much more fun than doing it on your own. So we provide access to people, but we do it through our teamwork. The results, again, not financial, health outcomes, enthusiasm. We're trying to build the best healthcare company in Australia. And then empowerment to I always think of our people in rural Australia that we've been looking after for 4 or 5 years, who have 2-year wait times to see a pain specialist, and we get them in 2 weeks, and they cry, and they have hope, and we give them the power to control their own health, which is not what they've had. And from what Pat was saying about his experience early days in Bendigo, they don't have as good a care as we enjoy. It's simple. So we give them that empowerment, but we also want to empower each other, and we want to grow, and we want to get better. So you'll see all of this. I think there's some stuff coming out to promote this within the business. I mean, main thing for me is this is great, and I'm loving having everyone in the room and on the Zoom and everything. But this is the first day. This isn't looking back and patting ourselves on the back. This is where we start to say, right, this is how we're going to actually operate, and these are the values we're going to display and recognise and reward within the business. So we scroll through a little bit more detail on each of these values, and these look like simple slides. I can't tell you the back and forth that went into actually producing this. I'm really proud of it. I think the word care just sums us up, and if that's the only thing you take from tonight, we want to be, our what is we want to be Australia's best healthcare company. Our why is through connecting people and improving their health, and we're going to do it with care. This will be everywhere. We'll live and breathe this stuff. As I said, values are within. They're not something that we can force on you. If they're not in you, you probably won't want to be here, because this is what we do. Fact is, as I said earlier, this is not a change for us. This is just an affirmation. We care, we provide amazing service, and we've got a great team. So they've put the Shutterstock image on there. That's a bit daggy, but this is a really good statement. I mean, I think this is cut from our website actually, but I'm not sure when it was said or who said it, but I think it really does sum up what we're trying to do as a business, and it's about all the stakeholders, all the people. And when you think about the 4,000 residents, the 30,000 patients that we've cared for in our rural business, and the growing list of allied health participants and clients that are accessing services that they would normally have to wait for, it's about everyone involved, and that's what we want to foster and develop. So I think that's it from me. So thank you for attending. Paul's got a bit of an announcement and a couple of slides on something pretty exciting that launches tomorrow, which is the gateway. All the onliners, apparently you can open your gifts now. There's a gifts bag for everyone here, but those who have actually not opened them before we launched, good for you. But those who did, I hope you're having a nice cuppa. I'll hand over to Paul and I'll just finish up when he's done, but just an exciting step in the business in and around this stuff. So, Paul Maloney, thanks.
Thanks, Brendan. Thank you, Pat. This is probably a time where we can cut the video because this won't necessarily relate to anything that we need to continue to show, because as of tomorrow, this particular product will actually be live. It was one of the last things I did before leaving the office was actually see it live. So some of you can see some tiles on that particular page, but essentially everything's up and running, showing, for instance, when people's birthdays are on, if there's anniversaries and so forth. Now, this particular thing, I love it when a good plan comes to fruition. What this was really purposed to do, and I reflect back on when I actually interviewed with Pat and Brendan before I started in January about some of the things that we would try and enable to be on the pathway to being an employer of choice. And a lot of this is about engagement. So this hub becomes our stopping point. So what you'll find tomorrow when you log in, and this applies to anyone who's on the remote as well, is that your default internet browser will now become this. And if it asks you for a login, that might be part of the step. But obviously, if you're then needing to use other websites and so forth, obviously you can open another tab. But I would recommend that you have this one, because what we'll find in time is that there'll be a number of links off to other platforms, whichever ones they might be. For instance, it could be Helix, it could be Xero, or it could be an HR information system if you need to apply for leave, etc., etc. So one of the things that you'll find through this, and I'll just keep going through, but that top right there is the actual, if those of you might recall, we did a little presentation in the upstairs kitchen talking about what's happened in the organisation since the last few years, and that was just Brendan and I talking about a few things there. This video of tonight, we'll probably put that in a couple of weeks' time. But each of those tiles are live links, and they'll take you to another landing page. But the purpose of this is so that you can actually recognise and reward your peers for efforts that have been done in and aligned to the values that we've actually just gone through. But there'll be other things. So there'll be non-monetary and monetary awards that are associated with those sorts of things. That's just a screen grab. There's a few other tiles down below, and I'll go through what those would be. So hopefully this is clicking forward. That's the middle one, sorry. So you'll see across the top there's a ribbon, and it talks about discounts and so forth. One of the things that we see as a benefit, and this is the example of it, is that if any of you have worked for large organisations, and I'm talking large, sort of north of 5,000 people, they'll often have these sorts of things available to employees, so like staff discounts. So in getting this platform, it enables you as an employee to tap into all those different categories and make a purchase that's invariably somewhere between 3 and 10% less than the full retail price. So if you're having used this before in a different organisation, for all of us that are supermarket shoppers, be it Coles or Woolworths, you might find that by year's end you've saved quite an amount of money by utilising your QR code or your vouchers at the time of checkout. So there'll be more information about how this works. So it's not expected to be launched tonight and everyone knows what it is. So there's a little bit of future little traps to it, or tricks to it. Not traps, but tricks. As I'll keep going through what the function of it is. This is obviously what we call an awards area. So we're looking to have some awards that are both quarterly as well as annual. But it also means that those who are managers can actually recognise performance and give, for instance, vouchers to certain things to be redeemed in any way they choose. So I won't go into all of that except to say that's part of the recognition, and good organisations, just like we're seeing tonight, do recognise performance and do recognise good adherence to organisational values, and we think that's an important part of this process as well. We wouldn't be a healthcare business if we weren't thinking about our own employees. This is an option for you to come in and have a look around a few different things. Obviously, people are going to look after their own health in different ways, but this is as much about things such as little clips around yoga classes online. It might be food and cooking tips. There's some financial wellbeing aspects, and obviously various different things in and around meditation and mental health. You might have noticed one of the tiles on the face page was actually linking across to our Employee Assistance Program, EAP provider. They've been EAP that we've had in place since last year, we may end up looking at something that's a little bit different in terms of its value adds towards employees. But these are all the sorts of things that good companies do, and I think this is an opportunity for us to showcase that we're thinking about everybody. Aligned to the values, and one of the things, and I joked with Hillary just before, one of the things that I did just before leaving was I picked out teamwork, which is the bottom right there, and recognised Hillary for her contribution to helping get this live tomorrow. And in everyday activities, I would expect we'll start to see it like a ticket tape. It'll be flying around. And what we've been doing perhaps has been using the Slack channel for that. We might find that some of the activity in Slack quietens down and it starts to increase in this space here, so that we can actually then see centrally how people have been recognised for their work and how they're going. So it works in a few dimensions there, and you'll get the hang of it. It's just typing someone's name in the top, up they'll come, and you can prompt it that way. And you can choose to do this publicly, or you can choose to do it privately just to the individual. If you know that person well and they don't necessarily take public adulation all that well, you might choose to do it on a private basis. But that's pretty much the end of it. But again, thank you for all the work you've been doing. It's been a great journey for me just in the last 5 months, and hope it continues.
Thanks, all right. That's just about it for the formalities. So that's some pretty exciting stuff, and I think, as Paul said, that's the sort of things you'd expect at Telstra or what a really big company. We want to live our values, and we want to care about you guys. And some of the rewards, I think you get just cash off your groceries every week if you use Coles or Woolies or whoever's on there. So if we use it, it's a bit like everything we're presenting tonight. You got to own it. We're the custodians. So anyone new into this business, you let them know about it, and you let them know what our values are and how we operate. But look, I'm really excited. I think moving towards our vision together with our purpose and the values, so the how we do this over the next however long it takes to become Australia's best healthcare business will be great fun. And thank you all for your attendance. And have a great night. See you, everyone. Thanks to everyone on the screen. Big waves. Great to see you all. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, guys.